What up, guys? It's your boy Illinois Valley, and I just want to talk a little bit about my first week's experience on Final Fantasy XIV, and maybe even draw some slight comparisons to ESO, which is the MMO that I play, which is the MMO that I know. Uh, but I just want to say, like, first off, Final Fantasy XIV, the tab targeting for me is the biggest challenge. I have just absolutely struggled with my button setup, my hotbar setup, my HUD whole setup in general. It's just a whole new experience. This game was clearly meant to be played on mouse and keyboard. I know it started off on the PS3, but times changed obviously because there's so many skills. And anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. I just want to talk about my actual experience. Like, Final Fantasy 14 is obviously a RPG MMO and not a MMO RPG. It really heavily focused on that storyline, which I appreciate. I absolutely love the storyline. I'm in love with a bunch of the characters. I think that it's all fantastic, right? Very story driven. Some of the side quests are fantastic. We just watched the one where I unlocked the hair salon, which I thought was hilarious. Character design, obviously, we're dealing with more anime style characters. I love that. I'm a huge fan of anime, huge fan of Final Fantasy, huge fan of Final Fantasy's look and lore. And, like, I'm a huge fan. So it's hard for me to say that I already don't love the game. I love the game already. Like, what can I say? Uh, but loving the game and actually being able to play the game, kind of two different things for me right now. Like, for example, I managed to get myself into my first PvP match. And since I really don't have a well set up hotbar that I'm used to, like, I'm sitting here as you can see in the footage right now, that's not how you set up your hotbar at all. I mean, yeah, right here it's working, it's whatever, but I've done some research and I mean, I have more abilities than my hotbar here can hold. So, like, I'm like actually hindering myself, like, not slotting some of these abilities, and that's because I didn't know better. I didn't know that you can go, well, I mean, obviously you can go in and custom do your hotbar, but I didn't know exactly how you'd want to do that to optimize your hotbar setup and layout and whatnot. I did some research, got in and did some homework, and now I have a good idea of how to do it. And for future gameplay, you're going to see that we kind of have it figured out. But one of my biggest issues playing this game on controller is targeting. And PvP was what really brought that out for me because, like, I had the hell of a time targeting people, and you'll see that in the footage when it pops up here on the screen. But, like, I just could not. And then like it just carries over to even just like the dungeons and the trials. Like, one thing pulls me off of my main target to go back to and then I want to go back to the main target, and like I'm just like all over the place. Like, it's hard because, like, it's hard to target in the game. But I also did some research. We got that figured out. So, as I progress, I'm starting to figure things out. I think I'm gonna enjoy the game a lot more once I like start to optimize things. Because right now I just kind of feel like a weak link. I feel like a noob. I've been playing a week, and it shows. Like, this is definitely what week one for most players is gonna look like. We think we're doing good, but in actuality, I mean, my team's just carrying the fuck out of me right here, right? I mean, the whole time I'm getting carried. I know that now because, like, I can see, like, it doesn't take a genius to see. This dungeon in particular was really cool because everybody in this dungeon was super supportive. They knew that I was new. They were giving me tips as we went. They were very patient. They weren't like trying to, like, we were pulling mobs, but they weren't over pulling, so they can like walk me through some stuff. And then at the end, they all gave me accommodations. Like, I even struggled. Like, this is so early. Like, I was struggling just to even work the damn chat. So, like, I was just using emotes the whole time. Like, it. And I guess, and they get it because I got a little sprout next to my name. I'm new, and they're welcoming you to the game. I just thought that was so cool, and that is actually a very good representation of the community in Final Fantasy 14. Like, there you go, they all gave me commendations, which is really nice of them. It's super sweet, right? So I got an achievement just by running a dungeon with these guys basically. Um, but yeah, so it's a huge learning curve for me because ESO plays a lot different and Final Fantasy plays a lot different, and they're just two completely different games. But I think the biggest thing for me, I know I'm kind of all over the place, but that's what you kind of expect from me. One of the biggest things for me is just the community. Like I mean, we had a fucking concert right here in my like little like spawn area. Like I spawned in and there was a concert going on, and that's not, dude. The concert's just half of it. Like some of the experiences I've had so far are fucking legendary, right? And we're gonna make another video about some of that stuff. Like people are. Here's my PvP experience right here, by the way. A very short clip because like literally, this is how it was though. Like this is me kiting like an idiot. Like I mean, ESO is gonna like. As far as PvP goes, like ESO is gonna ruin that for me because I'm always gonna kite now. Kiting is just gonna be something I do. But like the second they target me, dude, I'm so dead. And it's funny because like I'm just like, what do I do? What do I do? Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! And then that dead. And that's my in a nutshell. That's my experience in PvP. That's so obviously I got a lot to learn. I really had no idea what was going on, to be honest. I was just there for the fun. I was just there to say I was there. Golden Saucer, very cool. I spent a lot of time in here doing some gambling. Again, the community is another big part. Like the Golden Saucer community is fucking hilarious to me. Like everybody's in there just having a good time. Again, we'll get into more of that in a different video. So basically, what I'm saying here is I'm really enjoying my time in Final Fantasy XIV, and I could see myself investing some time into Final Fantasy XIV. Is it going to replace ESO? And I'm going to keep saying this. It's not. It's not going to replace ESO. Nothing's going to beat ESO PvP for me. Like the end game in Final Fantasy is raids and trials and yada yada yada. Maybe even fashion, and maybe even like social networking. And like for me, the end game in ESO is the PvP, and that's what I love to do, and that'll never change. But the thing is, right now, is ESO is just really broken, and based on all the news coming from the PC world, I'm not even excited for this next update. I'm not excited at all. I am excited for some of the changes. I'm just not excited for the shit performance that we're about to receive. So with that said, my plan is for this channel is I'm going to keep making ESO content. ESO is not going anywhere for me. But if things don't get better for ESO, I'm just letting ESO know right now that I'm in love with another girl. And you better hold my attention because this other girl, she's awfully attractive. And she's fun. And I don't have to take her too serious because I just, can go have fun. And, ESO feels more like going home to my wife and kids, where Final Fantasy feels like going out on a date with a new girl. So, I just wanted to just do a quick update. ESO new patch coming soon, and I will see you guys there. If it's shit, Final Fantasy 14 it is. Alright guys, peace.